It's the moment we've all been waiting for. Since the very first part of this series, I have to make up for the wrongs that I have done in the past. Today we're recovering from P-Coin. Hey guys, and welcome to GT Not Live, where today we're going back into Poppy Playtime Chapter 4, and we are gathering all of the lore. We're regathering every note, all the VHS tapes, the ones we missed, and the ones we've already gotten before, to look at the lore in its totality, my friends. And totality is a great word. I'm actually very proud of myself for that. It's not like an advanced word, it just feels nice to say. So I said it, and it felt great. But yes, we're going to be gathering all of the lore pieces together. We're going to be going over step by step, with the context of the full game, what everything could mean, what the references are, and what we can expect from this franchise going forward. What questions do we still have to answer? What mysteries can we solve with the things at hand? What is the information that we would need to know going in to another Poppy Playtime theory? That is what we're answering today, my friends. So sit back, relax. It's gonna be stop emailing me. So sit back, relax, grab some snacks, and we're gonna go through this entire adventure once more. Let's hop, skip, and jump right into this thing. So, whoop, you.
So this is our first tape.
This was Fire Hand explanation, right? Flare Hand. Press the hand trigger to launch built-in flares. Dark areas use flares to light your path forward. Rope, oil, and other resources can be burnt on contact, along with various gases. Shoot at the wrong thing. Boof. And the results can be deadly. Thank you. Don't harm yourself or other employees. What's the time? Playtime! Great. Easy. Love that. Love a good tutorial tape. No problemo. Alright. On to the next secret. So, next up, we're in the conductor room, and then we got this glowing tape right here. Yoink that. Come back over here. E.
Hey, Cole.
Hey, Norm.
2 o'clock, huh? Best time of the day.
Yeah.
So, what block are you again?
North.
Can't say I hear much about that one.
You wouldn't.
High security?
Highest security.
Cushy. No, we get in the east. Toys banging on the walls, crying for their parents, their counselors, whatever. It goes all day and night, and it just wears on you, you know? I'd kill for a little security. And quiet.
Right. Right. Know what we get in the North? Things. Whatever they aren't people anymore. Their cells might as well be cages. They are animals. Sick. Twisted. Just instincts and anger. That's all that's left of them.
Sure, but at least then it's not like yelling at your own kids for them to be quiet, though, you know? I mean, if you had to listen to them... Oh, great.
So much for our 2 o'clock.
Yeah, we really do have it rough, don't we?
Okay, so that was Norm and Cole having a discussion. We see more of the entries from Cole later on. We get sort of his reassignments after this. So I think this takes place before he gets reassigned, and what that looks like. This happens before all of the slaughter that surely ensues, and we start to see Playtime look a lot more like this. So these are the Cole prologues, essentially. Deep-voiced Cole. So, cool. That's another one down.
The next tape is an infamous one.
an infamous one. And where's is that?
This is the P-Coin tape.
P-Coin! Really? There's not another tape until P-Coin?
Mm-mm.
Alright. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. Since the very first part of this series, I have to make up for the wrongs that I have done in the past. Today we're recovering from P-Coin. Now's the time to do it. Alright, so. Boom, P-Coin. Is Lauren here? I think there's a note in one of these. Here, I'm gonna drop this. Boom, P-Coin. Bam. Over here. P-Coin in the darkness. It's fine. Made us, yep, I'm aware. Drop that. Boom, P-Coin. This room. Lore. And which one's that? Coal entry 1. Alright. We know that one. We know that one. That's fine. Alright. So this top room up here? That's where the last P-Coin is. Yep. Great. P-Coin. Epic. So. Back here again. I got 3 P-Coin. Let's put one of them up there. So. They all look pretty much the same to me. Alright. Made a good noise. Yes! Woohoo! Alright. Got it. And we move. Ha! Can't stop me now. Oh! Watched us. Made us. Watched us. In relation to the doctor, presumably. Alright, let's drop these. Investments. Perfect. Alright. And yellow tape. There you are. This is one we did not see previously. So, here we go. What I've been held back from. Go in. On the end.
Doctor! Doctor, what's going on? What's happening? It's... Yes, I can hear it. They've staged quite the rebellion. Remarkable. 1006. How could this happen? There's fail-safes, security measures. It's impossible. Personal agendas have long been the downfall of this company. Is it unreasonable to believe they were conspirators? Playtime is filled with vipers and backstabbers.
Ha.
But without executive access, how could anyone even get through? Lathe, Stella, Eddie, only the 4 of us have that kind of clearance. Does any of that matter now? It's your life we have to protect. You have executive access. For all the good it does me, opening a door at a time won't get me to the exit. Not with those things everywhere. You didn't see what I saw. You didn't see the trail of limbs down the hall. Didn't hear the things eating. The wet crunches of bones. God, There is something you can do, Warden. I can help you. Ah, you're stuck in there. You can't... My body's here. Sure. But my mind... What? The Omni Hand. If you give it to me, I can get you anywhere. I'll have control over everything. I can shut some doors, open others. I can make you a pathway that leads right to the exit. I don't know. If you want to wait to get torn to pieces, that's your prerogative. This will get you immediate options, Warden. What choice other than this gets you out of here alive? I'm giving you the tool. Just get me out of here. Please. Of course. You've made a smart decision, Warden. I promise I'll get you out of here safe and sound.
Oh, that's so interesting. Okay, 1, that's context as to why the Doctor has the Omni Hand in the first place. 2, that actually sets up a very interesting parallel to a scene that we experience later, where we're given the choice between killing one of the critters and then getting out of somewhere safely, getting out of a room safely, right? We're able to avoid this moral dilemma by looking up and grabbing one of the handles on the ceiling, and then using our grab pack to pull us up to a higher floor. But another one of the Doctor's little, like, decisions and dilemmas that he's setting up for us, right? Another interesting thing there, I've been aware since playing through the game, I've been seeing some rumblings online, right? Of, like, who people believe the prototype to be, just generally, right? It's one of our big questions. It's one of the main questions that we've had about Poppy since we first started diving into this franchise, right? Who's the prototype? Elliot's name is not mentioned here, and based on the timeline, Elliot might not be alive anymore, but I've seen a lot of speculation about Elliot being the prototype recently, and I could see people taking this specific line as a piece of evidence for that, because he wasn't specifically referenced, but 1006 is entirely possible there. But, yeah, it seems to me, one, the Doctor with the, you know, this place is full of vipers and backstabbers. It's also referencing a later tape that we're going to see where Leith Pierre betrays Sawyer by putting his body and his organs into these various, like, tubes and canisters around Playtime, you know? And then the Doctor, with his mind, he's still able to, like, control some things and be a resource to the Doctors that ultimately backfill his position. But we're actually getting a lot of foreshadowing for the reveals that we're going to see later through this tape, an extra explanation as to why we have the Omni Hand and where the Doctor really falls into the planning of, like, the hour, essentially. I'm glad that we saw that. It stinks that we missed that during the playthrough, but that's actually a very fruitful and interesting tape. So, cool! I'm glad we saw that now! Epic! Alright, on to the next. Alright, this should be the tape called The Doctor. It's one that we missed during our first go, so let's see. Eddie!
Recklessness has to stop. The Doctor has no regard for the safety of this facility or its staff.
Hypocrite.
Or the children in play care. I've tried to set boundaries with him. He doesn't listen to me.
Hypocrite.
He doesn't listen to any of us. Not really. Not anymore. And he's behind schedule. Playtime may have turned a corner financially, but that doesn't change the fact that his bigger bodies initiative is still a money hole. The guy's gotta go, Leith. And how do you suggest we do that? This wouldn't be the first time we made someone disappear. We can't kill him, Eddie. Why not?
Huh.
Because, like it or not, we need him.
Eddie's right, though. Sawyer can't keep leading this project.
So we just ask him to step down? Take a demotion?
No, but
I'm not disagreeing. Huggy loose in the woods, that business with Catnap, the whole Stoll thing, and half a dozen other incidents. Right. And all of that pales in comparison to the theater incident.
I don't even want to talk about that.
So, we can't kill the son of a bitch, but we need to knock him out of the equation.
That's a bad word.
What do we do? There is one thing I can think of.
That's a weird thing to think of, Leith Pierre. Like, the organ separation, like, yes, it's the thing that Sawyer has done to all of these kids, right? Take them apart and recreate them into these creatures, right? It's just like, well, there's one thing we can do, and it's what he did. I'm just gonna make a way more demented version of it, right? So, a couple key findings from here, yes? One, this proceeds when the Doctor is confronted by Leith Pierre, and he's like, where's my mind? I don't know where my brain is, and da-da-da-da. He's hooked up to all of these. He's hooked up to the computer system, right? He's acting purely as a resource and not someone who can actionably work through the projects. So, interesting here, the Bigger Bodies Initiative being a money hole, right? Because a lot of the impetus was like, oh, well, you know, we create these large creatures, and, you know, the toys can do a lot of the work, we don't have to pay them like people, and da-da-da-da-da. So, the money sink thing, one, is an interesting perspective on it, but two, it seems like the big reason why these people are going against Sawyer here is not really the money thing, it's the lack of obedience, right? It's not following the agenda, the whole personal agenda thing. Yes, the Doctor brought it up. It was probably some kind of lightly sarcastic thing, honestly, because it's what he was accused of doing. But it seems like that is really what Leith Pierre, Eddie, and Stella are getting on him about. Not to mention, all of these people are, like, wildly horrible and hypocritical, especially Eddie, who we've seen be an absolute monster during this entry, right? Eddie, you know, he's being mean to the construction crew. He's threatening to kill them. He just has this very sinister undertone in a way that we really haven't seen from him yet. So yes, Leith, Stella, Eddie, they're being little conspirators, right? They're working against Sawyer. Interesting stuff. Not to mention, oh my gosh, the hypocrisy, especially of Stella, is so frustrating here. Like, everyone here has a personal agenda. They're like, you know, everything falls apart with these personal agendas. Everyone has a personal agenda. What are y'all on? Like, all of these groups have personal agendas, and they're all full of hypocrisy. Literally all of them. But not Rich. Shout out Rich. Rich has been in every single chapter. He's just in shipping. We know that Rich is in shipping. Just a chill guy. Maybe he gets a little bit angry, but he's moving up in the world. You know, he can now talk to, it seems like, the higher-ups on behalf of the kid in a tape that we'll see later. Shout out Rich. Who is he? And who knows? We know he's in shipping, but that's about it. But, like, these tapes are just like, wow, everyone's a horrible person. And it makes, honestly, it makes the death of the Doctor a little bit harder to, you know, process. Because even though Harley Sawyer sucks as a human and did these awful, terrible experiments, you really can't help but to like him in comparison to Leith Pierre and Stella and Eddie. Like, by comparison, you just want to like this one guy more. I don't know. The dude's reciting poetry. My guy is talking about germs a lot, for whatever reason. He's a doctor. But it's like, oh my, he at least has some, you know, cool character elements to him. I don't know. But I'm glad we got to watch that. That was good. Alright, next tape. Let's check this one out.
So, Miss Graver, have you considered what we talked about?
Okay, it's this one.
Yes, Mr. Pierre. I won't lie. I was at a loss for words at first. The information hit me pretty hard. I felt so badly. I still do. For the ones that go through the testing.
You really care about them?
Yes. It hurts to see them hurt. I don't think there's any way around that feeling. But
what?
I did some soul searching and got to thinking about the bigger picture, about what your researchers wrote.
And?
Well, the work itself, what you've all been able to do, I mean, it's nothing short of a miracle. I know you have more goals to hit, but even as is, just, wow. Do they know when it'll be fully ready?
We're still working out the timeline.
I see.
You know, the project lead, Dr. Sawyer, wasn't sure about giving you that information in the first place. He thinks your affection towards those kids could be a liability. What do you think about that?
I took this job because I wanted to help change kids' lives for the better. Of course, these procedures are far from ideal. I cried like a baby when I read them. But I started looking past the here and now. Started looking down the road a bit. And that's when it clicked. What your researchers can do down here will someday help a lot of people out there. Including so many kids. That's a bigger and better change than I could ever have hoped to make. That's a change I want to help make.
I knew you'd understand.
Stella's character is so confusing. she goes through, and I called this out during the original playthrough too, because it just feels like such a shift in mindset, right? Because when we're first introduced to Stella, it seems like she wants to be a kid forever, right? Like that's her thing. Wants to just stay young, little Peter Pan situation. And then it's like, oh, well, I also took this on to take care of the kids, and oh, but these experiments that also kind of align with what I really want are upsetting to me, and it's making me cry. But like, looking forward into the future, oh, it brings so many benefits and things. It's like, what do you believe, Stella? Like, who are you at this point, right? It's also interesting here that Leith Pierre, because this presumably happens before the doctor tape that we listened to in the Yarnaby section, right? Where Leith Pierre is kind of introducing this to her and talking about, oh, well, Sawyer didn't actually want you to know. How do you feel about that? It feels like a very subtle thing to try to turn her against the doctor. Like, oh, well, he didn't actually want to give you this, so... It seems like the Leith Sawyer thing seems a little more personal than I think is being led on. I don't know, they seem to butt heads a lot, and when that confrontation does happen with, like, Sawyer realizing what has happened to him, who's telling him all this? Leith Pierre. So, I am sensing more beef here than what meets the eye. So, yeah. Alright. That's another tape down. On to the next section. Alright, here we go. Theater incident. Let's see if I'm right. Yes.
Got another one over here.
Jeez. Hard to imagine how the company will duck all this under their rock.
Not our problem.
Three here.
How many is that now?
58. So far.
Another one over here.
59.
Where's that investigator? Campbell, Lockhart, whatever his name is.
Poking around somewhere? Don't know. You ask me? The culprit's obvious. Just needs to be spelled out plain and clear for the bigwigs.
You think?
Yeah. Rotten eggs come from rotten chickens, you know? Can't get more rotten a chicken than him.
I don't know. Just seems too careless that a guy so smart would cover his ass. I mean, if the investigator finds evidence of this being his fault.
Hope Foxy's still hungry.
Got another.
60.
Alright. And are we just stopping the experiments back where they came from? Acting like all this didn't happen.
All over the eyes.
Because I guarantee it won't be so easy to just a new coat of paint over 60 visitors dead. Or the dozen reconstruction specialists who went swimming in the bellies of those things.
I'm sure that's taken care of already. But I hear there's plans. Something big. Somewhere to put them. With any luck, that means stuff like this, and people like him, will be a thing of the past.
There's more over here.
Huh. Okay. So, yeah, there isn't really any ambiguity about it at this point. Like, the doctor's being blamed for this, and there are still rumblings about what the company or the bigwigs are going to do with him at this point. But, yes, like, when they go into that meeting, theater incident, blamed on Sawyer. The specialists already suspect Sawyer. They talk about the experiments, the rotten chicken, rotten eggs. Like, obviously that has to come from him, right? So this is giving us an insight of exactly what happened, how many visitors were killed, and, you know, who was to blame with that, right? So it seems like a lot of people at this company have their suspicions about Sawyer, what is to be done with him, and a general distrust of him, even though he has this much power. That could be from the influence of people like Leith Pierre. It could also just be like, wow, it sucks to see 60 dead visitors in this situation right now. Yeah, makes sense that you'd want to point fingers, you know? So this is giving us some more clarity about what the theater incident was that we saw in that previous tape. So, yippee-ki-yay. Awesome. And this was a very, very interesting tape last time, so.
Feeling
say what they want. They don't listen. They don't care how much anything hurts. It's been weeks and weeks of taking things out and putting them back in, and taking things out and putting them back in. Over and over and over. Nothing's ever got better, and it'll never get better. But you know what scares me more than anything, Ollie? It scares me that every time they do it, every time they peel me open, I feel it less. I hate them. And I hate him. And I hate... I'm nothing now, Ollie. No one. I'm a thing. And nothing they can do to me hurts more than that. You're not nothing to me. You're Poppy. And talking with you like this, I know it doesn't make any of what they do right. It can't. But it makes me feel like a piece of me is still here. No matter how small they try to make it. Next to all that, next to whatever they do, it means everything. I'm here, Poppy. For you, I'll always be here.
I mean, yeah, like, left, right, up, down, and sideways. This is the prototype prying Poppy for more information, right? And, you know, this seems to be when there is experimentation still happening. We find out later on in this chapter that they do go back to previous experiments and open them back up and close them back up and go in, out, right? So, at the end of the game, it seems to imply that, like, Ollie might have existed at one point, and then at some point, the prototype either yoinked him or started mimicking the voice and used that to get more information on Poppy, right? The thing that really sticks out to me here, listening to this again, is like, I know what you're doing, talking to me like that. I'll always be here for you. Like, we get this really strong sense of familiarity between Poppy and the prototype at the very end, where the prototype's like, it's always just been you and me, like, because they were like the first, right? So they have this understanding that maybe the other bigger bodies don't have. So there is this sense of connection here, and if there is someone to pull out those specific behaviors about Poppy and would know about that, it would probably be the prototype, right? So that makes total sense to me, and it seems like maybe if this is earlier on to when the prototype starts kind of using Ollie's voice, it's still learning the best way to mimic it, right? It feels very monotone. Here, it's a less expressive Ollie than we've seen in a lot of the other cutscenes and phone calls that we have with him. So I would wager that this is earlier on, if Ollie was about to, you know, have his voice mimicked or was killed in some way, shape, or form, then this is like early prototype using Ollie as a way to get more information out of Poppy. That's my read of this. But yes, this still remains a very important tape, and it feels like one that you get a little bit more out of every single time that you watch it. So, yes. Good stuff. Good stuff. Alright. Next one, Sam. Guide me there.
Please, do you have any food?
I'm so sorry, I don't. I'm sorry. Alright. So, this infirmary one, this should be... Is this the one where Eddie is talking to the Warrenbach? And he's like, hey, why are we building a prison in a play place? And Eddie's like, don't ask questions, I'll kill you. Because that one was fun. I'd be excited to see that one again. Yes.
Long way down. So, this is what we have to work with. Do you believe it's doable? Sure, yeah. It's doable. Good. Remember, our timetable here is tight. If there's anything you need from me, do not hesitate.
Actually, I've got something I want to talk to you about. It's important.
I'm listening.
My company. We've built a lot for you over the years, and believe me, we've always been accommodating. We just did the work you paid us to do.
And your point here is... I don't like what I'm supposed to be building here. Look, the game station, whatever, it'll be fun for the kids. Underground production plants, sure, maximize production. Makes a kind of sense, as much as any of us, I suppose. But this, what in the world would a toy company need with a prison? When my people were building Playcare, all Mr. Ludwig could talk about was how much good it could do. And all you needed was a look at the man to know he believed every word of it. I need to hear that this is still the same company. If we're gonna make this thing for you, then I need that assurance. It's a game. Something for the kids. Anything. Mr. Ritterman?
Let me give you a bit of history, friend. In 1972, you signed a contract, a legally binding piece of paper that says whatever is asked of you, you do it. We asked. You did. In 1990, you signed another, a renewal. In it, had you bothered at all to read it, you'd have found a small clause. Any and all directives will be accomplished in the appropriate time and with appropriate compensation should the project be completed to satisfaction. Your name rests at the bottom of that document, and I remember because it was the ugliest bit of cursive I've ever seen. So now you do the work, because we've given you a directive.
Mr. Ritterman, we're near the...
Yes. Yes, we are. All of us are. On a ledge. Great things are coming. Great things that will someday make a lot of people very happy. I'm a businessman, Mr. Silver.
Whoops.
And I don't like to get angry. I get paid to see that things get done. And this, like everything else, will get done.
I mean, yeah, like, just illustrating more of, like, a post-Ludwig playtime. I feel like this chapter has been very much like, I want to be just like Ludwig, who set up this orphanage. Not Ludwig from video games. I want to be just like Elliot Ludwig, who set up this orphanage. Elliot Ludwig had so much passion in his heart for making Playtime, and you could tell that he wanted it to be good. And then Eddie Ritterman is like, you signed a contract, and I don't like to get angry, but there's a very high ledge that I could push you off of at any given point. Where it's almost like, it's almost comical, the differences in which we talk about the two. So, you know, just goes to show, it's like, hey, this is being run by bad people, and Warrenbach is aware of that, which is cool and fun. So, on to the next adventure. And I believe this is going to be the, another green tape that we saw in this, like, filey room. Before we get into, there's, like, a gear puzzle in there, and that leads us into the mine parts and all. Alright, so in this mixing space, which is eerily similar to what Jack fell into at the very beginning of the game, we're gonna go over here, and we're gonna pull a little tape off of this little shelf. Bam. Go over here. This should give us report C, 1322C. IIRC. Yes, 1322C. Perfect. Bam. And Stella's like, hey, the kid's good. Please don't be mean. And everyone's like, well, experimentation time. Yippee. So let's play this.
After a brief interruption, we've successfully extracted subject 1322. Specifically, 1322B from the Home Sweet Home. Before said interruption, I attempted to detail the subject's condition and overview the suitability of one Kevin Barnes in relation to Project Dowie.
Barnes. Yep.
The neural abnormalities noted in Dr. Newman's report are detailed in connection to behavioral issues demonstrated within Playcare.
Okay.
Trouble getting along with others, aggressive and often confrontational social tendencies, and an otherwise combative nature clearly relay that Kevin is, put simply, a problem child. What friends he does have, he's reported to have attacked in moments of intense play. These tendencies raise concerns. The subject excels in all physical tests. Reflexes, reaction time, and mental fortitude all tested well above average in game station examinations. So, in spite of said concerns, in Dr. Sawyer's eyes, Kevin is ideal for the project. However, if his use in this particular experiment is to move forward, we need to ensure we're not creating a time bomb just as we've begun stabilizing the entire project. If we're to create an experiment that can fulfill multiple assigned roles, we can't allow any single consciousness to throw the others off. Even a simple misregulation of emotions means we have 900 pounds of dough that can shift however it pleases and can turn on even those it trusts, simply because it was overwhelmed by a stray feeling. Regardless, Sawyer's word is law, and subjects 1322A and C are to be gathered for processing first thing tomorrow morning. Thus, all we can do is plan our safeguards accordingly. Yes, that's all we can do.
Incredible. So, yes, subject the B, because we have A, B, and C. I think A is Jack, B is Kevin Barnes, and C is Matthew. Matthew, insert last name that starts with an H here. Matthew Hat-Trick. Yeah! Throw it in the ring. Anyway, that was bad. So, Kevin here, this is our problem child. This is the angry part of Doey that we keep seeing, right? We see 3 hands on the front of Doey that represents A, B, and C. The 3 kids in there. They're all, consciousnesses are supposed to be in there. The plural of consciousness, the multiple conscious beings within Doey. Right? They're supposed to coexist. They're supposed to be able to fulfill multiple purposes. That's why Doey's made of dough. He could do many different things, which is a very experimental thing for the Big Bodies Initiative, right? So, Kevin is the anger that we keep seeing popping out of Doey. It seems like the kinder, compassionate one that wants to protect people. That's C. That's Matthew. And then A is going to be Jack. That's the sad, scared child. That's what we're going to see in the Bubba tape. It's not like the tape about Bubba, but we see the Bubba cut out, and it's also Bubba colored, so I've been calling it the Bubba tape. But that's when we're gonna see Jack, and that's when we see like all the despair and the sadness and the confusion. And we see that come out a little bit during the boss fight, right, where we flip very rapidly back and forth between A and B, between the different children inside of Doey. So, yes, we see both of these kind of peeking out and pushing their way through and, you know, delivering these voice lines, right? So yeah, we literally have 3 kids, 3 subjects put into Doey here, and these tapes are breaking down the traits of each of these kids. So it's cool to see them all kind of show up in these different ways, and the fusion of all of them is very interesting. So yeah, cool stuff. So the run music is still happening. Jarnaby's dead. I don't know what's going on there, but here. Alright, let's watch this while we have epic music in the background. Oh, this is very distracting. Here. I'm actually gonna do a sick hack right now. I'm gonna turn off the music so that doesn't distract us, and we could just focus in on the tape if it's gonna glitch out.
The door! Watch the door!
There we go. Good.
Right here. Lock the match.
There you go, bud. You're okay.
Okay! Look at me! I'm a mess!
Poppy? What's going on?
We were trying to bring supplies back up to the elevator, but we got jumped. Had to turn all the way back around.
They took everything we had! Right after one of them bit my leg!
How is he, Doc?
Not too bad. He'll live.
See?
He fight clean. Could get infected otherwise.
So, what do we do now?
For starters, you 2 stay here tonight. Let things settle down outside, I'll find more food for you to bring up to play care. When you're ready.
Thanks, Joey. Sorry we lost the supplies. It won't happen again.
The important thing is you're both okay. Aside from that bite, that is. Hey, Doc, let me grab some wound cream for our pal here.
So again, this is very caring, Doey. This is after a lot of the violence that we're seeing and probably what's depicted on the memorial room wall that we saw earlier in the safe haven, right? Like all that, the battle and the violence and everything that's happening. And also this, they're hungry, there's no food. We are biting and eating our fellow critters. So this is mostly just like a, hey, Doey really is caring for them. This is the more caring side of Doey that we haven't really seen beyond, like, yes, we saw, okay, let's make sure that Kissy Missy is safe. I'm going to be here. It's my job to protect them. But we're seeing more of that in motion here, right? The medic is still a little ambiguous, though. Like, medic? What? What do you mean? What's happening here? Right? I think it'd be really strange, because the voices are a little difficult to hear. It didn't sound quite like the doctor. Sure, maybe there's like little bits and inflections that were taken from that. I don't know what the deal with that was. I don't think it was anything to do with them. It's just unnamed medic is a very interesting thing to include here, especially because the medic's name was written in red font, right? So we see some amount of delineation between the characters based on what color their name is written in. So I thought that was a weird way to, I guess, delineate the medic from the other characters. Even Doey with the blue. I don't know. That one's still a little puzzling, but just kind of shows you more of the grotesque and the violence that the critters and Doey and everyone in the safe haven's been dealing with. So, zoinks. Don't love that. Do not love that, I have to say. Alright. So I guess it's time to go on to the next tape. Boop, boop. Let's hop in here. Let's absorb some information.
It looks like he's waking up. What is this? Oh no. They didn't. Those backstabbing traitors. Dr. Sawyer, can you hear me? What? What? That's you? Who else is in there with you? You enjoy watching me rise like one of them? My head. It was like it's split in two. This is wrong. You must have done something wrong. Some disorientation is to be expected. Who gave you the order? You spineless cowards. After all I've done for this project, for this company.
I gave the order, Sawyer.
Whoa.
Here. Of course it'd be you. You have no idea what kind of mistake you just made.
Really? From where I'm sitting, you're the one who keeps making mistakes that need fixing. We gave you so many opportunities to clean up your own messes, but you just couldn't do it, could you?
What? You think you can do better? Nobody else can do what I do. You need my knowledge, my intellect.
Why do you think you're sitting in there right now and not in Moxie's stomach? Let me tell you how this is gonna go, Sawyer. From now on, you're here to give the lab boys answers when they need them, and carry out procedures when and how we tell you to. That's it. You'll be an open book to us whenever we want. So fight, or give in, or whatever. Because either way, we own the infrastructure you're wired into.
You'll die for this, Leaf. When I get my hands on you, you're a dead man!
His temper is a bad look for you, Harley.
So that's the face-off of Leith Pierre and one Harley Sawyer after the board meeting that we saw earlier, right? I mean, it feels like there's a little more a little more context here for the emotional stakes of it all. Like, obviously, yes, Harley Sawyer is getting transformed. My head, it feels like it's splitting in two. Yes, because your consciousness is now being put apart and brought to these different canisters and, like, a digital consciousness, right? Like, it's a whole thing. But Leith-Pierre being, like, Harley's main enemy and really, like, these two opposed forces in all things related to Playtime, it makes more sense why he's the one to face off against Harley in this way. Dr. White, we also get more context about later. Dr. White's the one who actually fills Harley Sawyer's position, so he's the one to be there as Harley wakes up, kind of like a wild thing of, oh, one of your first experiments is on the guy you're replacing, which is wild to do, right? So yeah, we're just seeing more of that unfold. I think that we've gotten a lot of the context around that from the other tapes and the notes, so not a whole lot to add here, but from a performance note, dang, it's good. Like, the performance here is really, really stellar, and this is one of those tapes that I wish I could watch for the first time again, or listen to for the first time again, because I remember watching this on stream and being like, whoa, like, that's so big. So, yes, that was a very good one, and it feels cool to look at this now with the context of the other VHS tapes to learn more about what was going on there, right? So, in terms of what Harley was able to do to Leith-Pierre after this point, I think that part is still a little more of a mystery, I guess. Like, we don't have all the info from that point, but Leith-Pierre basically is like, this guy's useless, he's just, like, brains. But Harley Sawyer, he finds a way, you know? It's innovation, it's ingenuity, you know what I mean? That being said, though, he has a way to take over, like, a computer system, CCTVs, and, like, I don't know, it feels wrong that he perished where he did. Like, it feels like there'd be a backup somewhere of something, right? Like, he's also spread out in so many different places around this floor of Playtime. It's like, why would he just disappear, you know? It feels like it's not quite over yet, and maybe it is, and I'm just in denial, because I think that the Doctor is the most intriguing character, like, in this chapter. That's just my opinion, but, yeah, you know, it's just one of those things where it's like, is it really over? Is it really over? I mean, if Huggy Wuggy could come back, maybe the Doctor can too, but then when are we gonna get to the end and face off against this prototype and actually figure out what on earth is going on here? You know what I mean? So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Alright, on to the next juncture. Good, excellent.
Your suggestions?
To produce the results, have I made an error in allowing your survival? Of course not.
Oh.
We just need more time to perfect that. Time is precisely what we do not have. Then I suggest you find some more. That will give me labs access. At least with the two of us.
That is out of the question.
You will support.
Whoa.
Fine. But you have no staff, virtually no test subjects. It's hardly ideal conditions. Even when this place was fully operational, we were beating our heads against us. You can't expect to do it on your own so quickly. The situation necessitates it be done quickly. I'm just giving you the facts. And the fact is, we need more time, or this isn't going to work. I can only be reactive up here. Then of what use are you? You know I'm still your best shot at cracking that secret. If I weren't, you would have already killed me. A sound observation.
Yes.
You have made yourself useful. Provide me more options. I will try again. Of course.
But
You are stalling. Or worse. Remember,
your usefulness
is the only reason you were not stripped for meat and spare parts.
They're in cahoots! They're in cahoots! Ooh! Okay, we haven't seen the Doctor and the prototype talking to each other yet. So that's a first. And the Doctor was spared by the prototype. They might not be exactly on the same side, but maybe with the Omni Hand, or, you know, the Doctor's sense of surveillance and being able to see everything, like, that provided some use to the prototype, right? Which I guess would lend itself to how Ollie was able to see everything so well and somehow know how everything was happening at any given point. So that could be an explanation for that. The Omni Hand, we already saw that the Warden was trying to get more of the access and use the Doctor for the same reason. So the Doctor knows that he has merit, not only just in, like, the intellect and the understanding of all these experiments, but also in access and surveillance of the entire establishment, really. So, oh. Seems like there is some conniving and scheming happening here. Wait, that's exciting, actually. We haven't really seen that back and forth, at least, like, where the prototype is simply being the prototype and not fronting, you know? That back and forth between him and the Doctor? It's like, oh wow, they were both using each other, I guess, in some way. Wow. Okay, that's kind of tasty. I understand why that's behind an extra level of surveillance now. Huh, how interesting is that? And what's the screen light back here? Wow, he had little vlogs, huh? They doing little logs here? Little Captain Kirk situation? One and done. Alright. It might as well have gotten burned. Great. Huh. I gave their lives purpose. Really? I mean, that's like... It's a similar shift in mindset to, and it's not like Sawyer shifted his mindset at all. It's a different... No, it's not different. What am I saying? It's the same way of looking at it as Stella came to when Leith-Pierre was talking to her about, like, oh, the purpose and the intent behind these experiments and how it's going to help in the long run. It means something. And that's how Stella was able to cope with that. And then, in a sense, that's kind of the framing device that Harley Sawyer was using for all of this. Like, yes, it's demented and it's still bad and Machiavellian and not great, but, like... Yeah, it's interesting how those two line up, I guess. I would assume that those lines might be from the ARG, if I had to guess, because this is a different receptacle of lore and information than the others. But, huh, I don't think we've seen any of these other little radios. It's interesting how that would be hidden back there and tucked away. Huh, wow, that was a crazy one! And that was crazy too! Wow, okay. I am genuinely excited by that. That was cool. I enjoyed that. Alright. On to the next adventure we go. How you doing, Sam? It's been an episode where I'm just, like, watching things and talking about things. Where are you at right now?
I'm tired.
You're tired?
And I'm hungry.
You're tired? Why didn't you eat? We took a little bit of a break, a respite, if you will. You didn't
I
eat
just
food?
had other things to do.
And besides eating...
ABG. You know what they say? Always be grinding.
Well, you could be grinding through some food.
Call me
grinding
Ryan Sheckler the way I was grinding like a skateboard across a metal rail in a public park. Local security was on their way to kick me out of the mall because I was grinding my skateboard down the stairs.
Here's the thing. I feel like you couldn't have gone with, like, Tony Hawk, and you went with Ryan Sheckler.
I had Ryan Sheckler on the mind for the past couple of days because he did an ad with Axe like 15 years ago.
15 years ago?
Called the Double Pits to Chesty, where it was like a fake skateboard move, but he'd spray Axe in both of his pits and then across his chest. And that's how I remember Ryan Sheckler, and I thought about that the other day, so he's been on the brain.
Wow, I don't know if I've ever heard the name Ryan Sheckler.
Well, hey,
I thought you were just flexing about skating knowledge.
Nope.
And you might be.
This is an educational channel.
And today we learned about the lore of Poppy Playtime alongside Ryan Sheckler.
Ryan Sheckler.
and the two-pit
Double pits to chesty.
double pits to chest.
Yeah, shout out to Axe's advertising back in 2011.
So deodorant brands, scent brands, I feel like their advertising has always been wonky and creative in that way.
Yep.
Where like, oh my gosh, I mean the Old Spice ones are forever classic, but the double pits to chesty.
Not one you hear much about.
No, that might be like a diamond in the rough sort of thing.
Yep, a sleeper hit.
An uncovered gem.
I'm hoping they bring it back for the Super Bowl this year. Do a 15-year anniversary of Sheckler hitting the double pits to chesty.
If they hit a double pits to chesty during the break of this Super Bowl, I will throw up, and I will call you immediately after
Good.
I'm finished, because that would be disgusting.
Sure.
But I'd be like, how did you know that? Yeah, I'm gonna be really masculine about it when I do.
Oh, Ash is calling. Hey, Ash, how's the Super Bowl going?
It's like, whoa, Ash is throwing up like a man right now.
Oh, I guess Sheckler must have hit the double pits to chesty.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
And then I'll hang up.
I'll know what it means. Ryan Sheckler, if you're out there watching this, please.
He's not.
You never know. Ryan could be really into Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 Secrets All Lore Tapes Found.
He's like, how dare you, actually? It's my favorite franchise. Watching my favorite channel right now.
We love you, Ryan.
Ryan.
I actually don't know you personally, so you're probably a nice guy, but I just like you.
We respect you parasocially,
Well
Ryan
said.
Sheckler. I wonder when the last time you hit the double pits to chesty was. I think at the end of this episode, I hope you can hit one more just for us.
Well said.
All right, Rich, what's up?
That you, kid?
Rich.
Yeah, it's me.
Don't lurk out there. It's weird. Just come on in.
You're being
Be
weird.
early in the crime.
Love this guy.
You know why I asked you here, right?
Why are we doing this dance again, boss?
Because you were reported. And all reports from my people come back to me. Look, I'm not here to place blame. Just tell me your side of this. So, what happened?
Come on, Rich.
This guy, Rod, he works the line. One of those twitchy mooks with the side eye. And this guy, Rod, he saw me drop a box. He and his boys Phil kind of irked him. I think he was joking, that's probably how he meant it, but he dropped some line about me disappearing. Him and the other guys laughed. I was having a bad day, so I yelled at him a bit. About him, about the company, about everything, really.
And where were you when this happened?
The factory floor.
Oh, great.
Look, I don't mean to keep causing you trouble, Rich. You're good to me, to all of us. But the company isn't good to you, or to Rod, or me, or to anyone. Leaf says Playtime is better than ever, but profits aren't people. And the profit margins betray just how on edge everyone is.
Real and true.
Hell, anywhere else, I'd have probably liked Rod. But because he said it like that, and with all the rumors, I just don't know if I can take it anymore. And it feels wrong that no one said anything as loud as they should.
Look, I get it. This company is far from angelic. Trust me, I know that. And you shouldn't ignore it. But there are smarter ways to go about what you did.
I know. I'm sorry.
Hey, no matter what the executives say, no matter the looks you get, just know that I've got your back, kid. Shipping is a family. We look out for each other. That's the way it is now. So don't fight, don't shout. Just come talk to me from now on, okay? I don't want another report on my desk like this one. I fight for you. All of you. And I'm in a position where I can do so.
Thanks, Rich.
It's good to know not everyone here is terrible to us.
Not everyone, kid. Not everyone.
I love this tape because what the heck is going on? Like, it's just Rich being an absolute G, and then this kid, and like, honestly, this kid might be the unsung hero of this game. I think he is just so delightful to listen to. He reminds me of like how Marty McFly would be portrayed in the Back to the Future musical. This guy, Rod. Yeah, this kid, Rod. It was getting all over me, man. And this guy, Rod. I don't know, Rich. I just feel like everyone's against us right now, man. Like, he just has very musical theater protagonist energy in a way that I think is kind of awesome. And then Rich is like, don't worry, kid. Things are rough. But you talk to me from now on. It's like, dude, what a good guy. We don't know anything about Rich. We know he's in shipping, and we know now that shipping is a family. And that Rod is kind of a jerk, but that Kid and Rod would probably have been friends. It's like, it feels so disconnected, but it tells us, one, that Rich is at least in a place where he can talk to the big wigs, or at least stand up for shipping. Rich, you know, if he probably understands the anger situation, he understands the big emotions and the the outcry, the backlash. I'm combining multiple terms in my head to create new words, and not in a Shakespearean way. It's in a way that's confounding and confusing for literally everyone who interacts with me. So I'm gonna take that again and try not to do that. But Rich understands the I can't do it.
The outcry, the backlash, the outback, the back out.
The outback, the backyard, the yard house, the house of gold.
The house on the prairie.
The house on the prairie dogs, the prairie cats.
The cats in the hats.
The cats in the hats, the hat wearers, the hat makers, the manufacturers.
The hat shippers.
The hat shippers and shipping. Boom.
There it is.
Rich understands literally all of that. You can ask him any question about these topics, and Rich will know. And he's going to speak to the people involved. So, he understands the strong emotions. He understands the being angry, the lashing out. The lashing out! That's what I meant! The lashing out. Ugh. The lashing out. He gets it. He feels that. But now he's in a spot where he could talk about it a little bit more. I like this tape because it's just Rich being a cool guy. And you know what? Maybe that's what this game needs. What this company needs. A cool guy you can count on. And who's more rich in that field than Rich?
Wow.
That was a terrible snap. God damn it. That would have been so much cooler if I was able to snap well. Hold on. Oh, that was crisp. That was better. Sam has a blank expression on his face, and I feel ashamed right now. Bro, I snap so good. You know I have a 40% success rate. You could at least cheer me on sometimes.
Woo!
Thank you.
Good snap.
Thank you. Thank you.
Snap, crackle, pop.
Rice Krispies. I didn't like Rice Krispies that
I
much.
loved Rice Krispies.
That's crazy for you. But I guess you were in the majority there.
We couldn't be more different.
No, I think Rice Krispies had like a 40% success rate with me.
Just like snapping.
Yeah. And the crackle and the pop.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I do. You know what else I do? I find tapes! Show me the next one! You probably saw this tape when you were watching this episode like a truthful GT Liver, but you need to get ready for this one.
Okay. I'm gonna lock in.
Alright, please.
Why is it so far away?
I just squint.
Sir, ma'am, I ask that you remain calm whenever you interact with the patient. He's only been awake a few days now. In many respects, he's still adjusting.
Is that him? Is that my boy?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Oh, George! That's our boy! Jackie!
Why does he look like that? What did you do to him?
Stop it, George. Just stop. That's our son in there. Our son!
Dear, look at it. That's not even human.
Let's just talk to him.
You'll see. Let's just go in there and talk to him. Can we? Can we talk to him?
Yes, ma'am, you certainly can. Go on in, whenever you're ready.
Jack, I want you to know. I'm so sorry. I've never forgiven myself for what happened. I've played it all back a million times in my head, and I know there had to be something I could have done. I could have reached just a little further. I could have noticed a little sooner. I could have. But we have you back now. That's what's important. We can.
Who are you?
Jack? Honey, it's me. It's Mommy.
Mommy?
Yes. It's Mommy and Daddy. You remember, don't you?
Leave me alone.
Hey, you'll be okay, I promise. Mommy's only here to talk.
No, I don't want to talk. Get out!
Susan, I think we should leave.
Jackie, I'm staying right here. I'm not leaving you. Not ever again. Do you hear me?
The gentle voices lie. I know what they do. They lie, and they poke, and they hurt.
Susan, get away from me!
Jack? Mommy won't lie to you, Jackie. Mommy won't hurt you. I'd never hurt you.
Hey, open this door! Oh, God. Susan! Please, open the door! Please!
Wow, he's crashing out on everybody.
Yeah, literally, like, Joey is such a tragic character, right? And this also confirms, like, yes, Jack is the first. Just bad moves on the mom. Like, yeah, I think I'd be happy if my kid was still alive. I think I would probably be more haunted that it was like a giant doe creature. But, like, dude, the parents just, that's neglect, dude. You're like, get your kid away from the railing, bro.
The people in this game, I think, I don't fully understand.
Pick up the child, move child, place child in better location.
Like in what universe are you like, oh, thank goodness they could put our kid inside a giant doe monster.
Yeah,
like how does it even get to that point? Like, why don't you just be like, no, well, I'm probably not going to do that.
I mean, the mental distress of feeling partially responsible for your child's death, I feel like that would take your brain to some weird places. However, this would make me pass away. I think I'd just die. You know?
Yeah, how do they have the science to take a dead or soon-to-be dead person and make them doe, but not the science to, like, just save them? Like, why doesn't the doctor just, like, learn how to save people?
Well, because the doctor could, but the doctor has some ulterior motives. And so he was like, it's free real estate.
That's true.
It's free real estate.
It is.
That was the thing.
He really wanted his own personal doe monster.
He did. He was like, this would be so fun.
Every time I say the word...
what Sawyer said.
Every time I say the word dough, I'm thinking cookie dough.
Oh.
And, like, I just want to take a bite.
When I hear dough, I think do-re-mi.
That's crazy. For real?
Yeah. Maybe that's crazy for real. That is for real, Sam.
All right.
Do-re-mi-fa-sol-la-ti-do.
They say it twice.
They say it twice. Of course I'd think about it.
That's true.
It's
Do you think
repetition.
about the first one or the last one?
Mostly the first, and then the last one's like a reminder.
That's true. Recency bias.
Exactly.
Hit him first, hit him last.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Cookie dough is my second thought, though. I love cookie dough.
I know.
Like, especially the edible kind. I don't eat the edible kind. I eat the inedible kind, which is not good. Don't do that, but I do.
Maybe this is a dumb question.
What?
What is inedible cookie dough?
Like
What does
the
that mean?
regular kind. It's edible, but okay, maybe inedible is the wrong word. It's edible, but like probably don't because of sickness.
Oh, like with eggs and stuff. People are like, don't eat raw eggs or whatever.
I think it's more the flour that's the culprit, is it not?
I don't know.
It's the untreated flour.
I'm unfamiliar.
Lore, yeah.
Okay.
It's more because like the athletes are like chugging back those raw eggs. They're going
They are.
wild mode. But like it's the flour, I think that's the killer here. It doesn't kill you. It could kill you. If you have a gluten intolerance, it'll probably kill you if you have that much. But I think the flour, because you have to like put it under a lot of heat, that's what you do for edible cookie dough. You have to like bake the flour real good. And then sometimes they don't put eggs in it because they're like, oh, it's eggs, but I really think it's just the flour.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. It warrants some more research.
Good to know.
But I think the flour is the main culprit here.
Then I'm gonna go home and make some cookie dough, but I won't use any flour, and then I'll just eat that.
That will not be good.
Are you sure?
You should toast that flour.
If I take something that's good and remove the only bad part of it, it's gonna be even better.
That's not how this works. That's
You
not.
sure?
No, you have to change the flour in some way. But the flour allows for the oomph, you know? Otherwise, you're just gonna have like wet.
Ooh, like vanilla eggs with chocolate chip. Mmm.
You'll have to like. There'll still be like unincorporated egg white and yolk that you have to like slurp up in this like way. Yeah. Kind of makes you want a certain ingredient now, doesn't it? All right, chat. GT Livers. Sam has told me where this last tape is, and this is absolutely redonkulous in ways that you guys are gonna be like, what is going on here? Look at that. Boom. It was in the back. What am I to do? Oh my god, I forgot the way. I have to approach the gap to squeeze through. Yeah, you just have to like reach and say a prayer, and then you could grab it. It's a very small lit up box above one of the heads of the smiling critters, and that's what we have to grab, and that's what we have to do. And I'm shaken to my core, really. Approach the gap and squeeze. What on earth? You just gotta keep squeezing and go and run and crouch and go and go. And you cannot run while you're crouching. Oh my god. Yep, that sucks for you. But I'm gonna keep on going. Alright, I'm in here. And then I have to defeat the boss to get this tape. Which I'm not excited about doing, because it takes a minute. Oh, come on! Light up! Yeah! Lower! Descend! Yes! That's awesome. Okay. Boop, boop. Boop, boop,
Defeat
boop,
Doey to watch the tape
boop.
in the large room with the trucks.
Boop, boop, boop. You know where that tune is from, Sam?
No.
Really?
No, I do not.
Probably do. And they got like a nice beat underneath it. Doo, doo, doo. Boop, 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 boop. No? Nothing?
No, I have
Nothing?
no idea.
Nothing? Oh, here's a TV. Okay. Wii bowling training on Wii Sports.
How would I have known that?
Because I was a trainer in Wii bowling back in the day.
I believe you.
I hit up the training section frequently. I wanted to go into every encounter prepared.
And Wii bowling is the way to prepare for those encounters.
Yes, I Wii bowled. I did the tennis where I hit the ball against the wall. And then also boxing where I fought Matt frequently.
That paid off in real life.
It really did. It really, I didn't realize how much it would come in handy. Anyway, if y'all were frequenters of the training section of Wii Sports, do let me know. Less people than I thought frequented it, but I wanted to practice.
It was awful.
Well,
So awful.
what is going on here?
I didn't want... This wasn't what I...
What?
thought we were gonna leave. Leave the factory. Not this.
What?
All those people.
Oh.
Prototype says we can't leave. Not now. Not ever. I hate him. I hate him. And I hate this place. And I hate that he's... right. He explained everything. And he's right. We can't leave. It's too risky. What they did to us, we can't ever let it happen to us or anyone ever again.
Yep, makes sense.
Doesn't make me feel better about the bodies, though. What he was saying about them. I know there's not really another option. The toys will starve otherwise. They'll die. But it's still disgusting. I wish you were here, Dad. I could really use one of your talks right about now. You'd know what to say. When you were running this place, you always knew what to say. Miss you.
Elliot Ludwig father arc? Father of Poppy? I guess so. Wait, okay. So I know that there's some people saying that Elliot Ludwig is a prototype, right? But why wouldn't she just call him Dad if that were the case? That's crazy. Tape is crazy. Does the timeline match up for that? I don't know if it does. For him to be. I'm not sure. Huh. Okay. This chapter really has a way of being like, you want lore? Here, take it. This is what lore looks like, by the way, if you were curious. It just, it puts it in a tape and it says, here you go. But at the same time, it's lore about, like, a lot of the surrounding mysteries of Poppy Playtime, but not, like, the big core questions of, like, who are we? Who's the prototype really? Who's Poppy? And what's her deal, right? But when you're Dad running this place, that's bizarre. That's wild. That is okay. Okay, friend. Friend being Mom Entertainment. I'm seeing what you're doing. Is there another tape down the line, Sam, that we need to acquire?
There are 2 final tapes.
All right, where are they at?
This one is right there.
Yep. And then the I have a gun, I'm Leith Pierre.
Yes.
I'm not sure if this thingy is on, but I need to talk, and I can't talk about this with anyone else. For the past few months, the fighting's been bad. Real bad. I've seen a lot of stuff I probably shouldn't. It's been hard to keep my head straight. The others, they look to me to know what to do, to know where to go. For a long while, we had Poppy to tell us, go here, go there, do this. And it all made sense, too. Poppy was nice. I can't find Poppy anywhere. I don't know what happened or where she went. But it's scary here without her. Maybe she ran, just like I have. I'm here, outside the prison, in front of... I almost forgotten it was all here. And seeing this again, it's given me reason to think. scared like I am, but they're not me. They can't go where I can. But they mean a lot to me. A lot more than I thought they did. And having seen what I have, knowing how they see me, how much they need me. I'm going back. I wanted to make this in case I ever doubt or forget that. Just play this and remember. Yeah. Yeah. That's all. See ya.
Doey's a great character, man. Like, it's unfortunate that that tape before, it was so difficult to find, because I love the experience of seeing the Poppy tape, where she changes her mind, and then the Doey tape where he changes his mind, because they change their mind in different directions, right? So, Poppy realizes she can't leave. She hates the prototype. He's right. Like, they can't leave, because what's out there, you know, it doesn't make sense. It wouldn't work. And she goes, well, maybe I just need to destroy everything. And she's all in her emotions and feels helpless and kind of like isolates herself. She wants to find support in her dad. She wishes he was here, that he could provide that for her, right? Now, it would be a cool kind of irony if the prototype was Elliot Ludwig, because it's like, whoa, but your dad is here and it's actually this. Nah. I don't know if it is or not, but just seeing what people are saying in the space, if that were the case, and narratively, that would be a really cool switch and inversion of expectation, right? That would be really cool. Then here with Doey, he realizes he can't leave, or that he shouldn't leave, and instead of like wishing he had the support of, you know, of dad, you know, quote unquote, it's like he goes and finds that support by supporting the other critters and the toys that can't leave, right? That don't have the mobility, the ability to escape in the way that he does, right? So Poppy goes into like isolation mode, wanting someone that she can't have, or talking to someone, like wanting to talk to someone that she can't talk to. And then Doey goes back for the sake of being there and to be that supportive figure for the other toys. It's just, I think it says something about the, ironically enough, because, you know, children and whatever, the maturity and the heart of these two characters. And we see it again just in like a few moments after this segment, where Poppy just kind of gets up and dips on Kissy Missy, and then Kissy Missy is just like left there to curl up and be upset, and the prototype's like, some friend, right? Like, Poppy, she's a complicated character, but also really not the greatest to the other toys around her. But again, like, she's trying to bring all this to the ground, so like, whatever. But Doey actually really cared, and he saw, even despite the starvation and the fighting, like, he wanted to support and help where he could. He went out, as we saw in the Hoppy tape, to find food and bring it down so that they wouldn't have to go out there and fight and get hurt in this way. Like, Doey was their safe haven and their protector, not just so much like the space that was safe. It was really Doey who was that for them, right? And the moment Doey wasn't there, of course, everything came tumbling down in like a very tragic and sad way. I really appreciated those tapes. I think that this chapter does the characterization and the lore drops really, really well. It hands you a lot of information in these tapes, like very succinct, but like in-depth lore drops, but I do think it's really effective. I do think that the character building in this one is very, very good. It's just, for me, I want more of the characters, like, in terms of their time in the game. I wanted more, honestly, of Doey. I think it would have been great if we met him previously. I wanted more of the Doctor. I want more of these fantastic characters. Even Yarnaby. I wanted to get chased by him again. Like, more of these characters and keeping them here because they are so good. It's just, like, you want more of them. You don't just want to see them die in the game. You want them to come back. You want to think that they're passed out, but then they get up and disappear, and it's like, I'm safe for now, but what else is to be uncovered here, you know? So, this leaves one more tape behind. Hi, Huggy Wuggy. You're about to come back. Boink. Let me pull this out of the way. Bye! Get this as well. But we're about to go into the garden room, and then work our way into the labs, where we're gonna have a tape with Leith Pierre being like, you shouldn't be here, and you're gonna be shot down with our security system. Hello, poppies. We harvest the poppies, we harness the poppies. We move. We go. Omni hand. Also, so ironic that you need an Omni hand to get through this, and then it's still like, you're not allowed to access here. Alright, close this. Exploit where I could get through? No. Alright, final tape, let's do it! This will end the game.
Hi, my name is Leith Pierre, and I'm the head of innovation here at Playtime Co. If you're seeing this, you must be very, very lost. Well, rest assured, friend, our state-of-the-art laboratory is just up ahead. Why don't you just go on inside and tap one of our scientists on the shoulder? Tell them you're lost. They'll be glad to help. All right. Let's be honest. You're not supposed to be here. This is the single most high-security, high-clearance section of the whole factory. When someone finds you down here, you will be shot. And before you get any ideas, don't think you can just sneak away either. No, the second you put this tape in, it set off an alarm. So if anyone's home, they know exactly where you are.
Here he is.
Pretty nifty, huh? Security is very important to us here. If I were you, I'd start running.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy.
He's gonna shoot us?
Yeah, they're giving Huggy Wuggy a gun.
Wow. The sequel to Squirrel with a Gun.
Yep. Huggy Wuggy with bandages, but also a gun. So, yeah. Leith Pierre is constantly being proven to be a worse and worse human being, I guess. But it'll be interesting to start off Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 dashing away from a beat-up Huggy Wuggy. Like, what a return to form, right? So, I remember reading that in the original, like, ideation of this franchise, there were 5 games that were written for, right? So, I wonder if it's, like, it would be very Palpatine energy, but it's, like, somehow, Huggy, Mommy Longlegs, Catnap, and Doughy return. Somehow. And then there's, like, these 5 battles that bring you to the prototype at the end of it all, right? That'd be wild. But it's just interesting. Like, yes, it makes sense for Huggy Wuggy to come back because he's what started this all, and he's still very much synonymous with the franchise and their most, like, recognizable character by a long margin, right? So, to me, that makes total sense, and it's cool to see him back here. It's just like, what does this mean about the others? Like, someone had to repair Huggy, right? I don't know if the doctor used one of his cool little robot vessels to help do that, or if there's more down here, or if it was the prototype himself, right? They're all, like, the bigger bodies, there's a worship of the prototype that we didn't see as much in this chapter, really, but it was very much elaborated on in Chapter 3, so that could be a possibility, but, like, it's interesting, right? Like, someone had to put you back together. Who was it? Who did that? I don't know. So, yes, like we saw in the various rooms where we were doing the mask maze, where we had to find, like, the severed, which subject had what limb or part severed or missing to fill in the number code. I mean, that could be a signal that, hey, there's still some experimentation and work being done down here. Like, that could be a hint that there's still things operating in this space, potentially. But, yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? So, I'll be curious to see where Chapter 5 takes us in terms of that. However, we're not done here. Alright, so, that's us going through the VHS tapes. Because we were jumping through saves to make sure we got all of these tapes done, going through all the notes probably would have taken us the whole... all the time that we had to film. So, we have here all notes information. This is by Dinalotzi Pop. So, shout out Dinalotzi Pop. And we're going to go through and we're going to read through the notes that I missed in this previous playthrough. So, let's see. The ones that we did not get. So we got all through Red Smoke, Olive Riley. We got the weekly checkups. Cole 1, Cole 2, Prisoner Profile, that's Yarnaby. So we got that one. Let's see here. Oh, maybe we didn't get this one. Weekly Checkup 1172, I don't think we had. So first up on the list, we have Weekly Checkup 1172. I had Sam just confirm the number. This is about Kissy Missy. So week ending December 23rd, 1994. Original procedure date, 1190? November 1990, I suppose. Reasons for observation: emotional dysregulation, overactive autonomic nervous system, acute stress response. Episodes consisting of shaking, heavy breathing, and decreased concentration. Observations: when given writing implements, 1172 has communicated, to the best of her ability, high levels of stress, feelings of impending doom, and a strong desire to return to her previous living quarters. These reported feelings and accompanying symptoms began following 1172's transfer to the shelf, and originally rendered her unable to complete assigned tasks. Recently, however, 1172 has shown gradual but steady improvements. Research staff have noted a drop in the number of emotional episodes, as well as a shortened duration when they do occur. One factor for this improvement is believed to be scheduled periods of supervised socialization with other subjects within the block. This measure was personally requested by Stella Graber, and has had a positive impact not only on 1172, but several other subjects. Subject continues to rub the fur on her arms, most likely unconsciously in response to stress. Which is what we see her do when Poppy leaves her at the end. That's sad. Also, Stella, what is your deal again? Like, I guess, cool, great. She is trying to make these experimented subjects more comfortable, I guess. But, like, she's so... As a character, it still feels... I still feel conflicted. At this rate, it's believed 1172 will not need corrective intervention, medical or otherwise, after all. While still reporting negative feelings, subject is back to a state of functioning such that she can return to her tasks. For the time being, this research team recommends physical work in a quiet setting. Transfer out. To be filled by department head. Transfer destination storage B. Department production. Hate to see it. Hate to see it. Poor Kissy. She's really been through the ringer. Gee whiz. 1163. Prisoner profile experiment 1163. This is another one we missed. Assigned position testing. Behavior. Much like its predecessors, 1163 displays none of the typical human qualities. Whatever is left of the bright, joyful bundle of laughter, per the counselor's report, appears limited, or altogether depleted. A shame, I suppose. I grow tired of creating mindless invalids. 1160 had his uses, but 1163 lacks the cunning or the size for a similar role. And that's not what the initiative is about anyway. 1163's temperament is like that of a rabid animal. It snaps at perceived motion, eats whatever fits in its mouth regardless of appetite, combats the conditioning staff, and it cannot even play its insipid piano rhythms in tune. Perhaps one of the others from its line would have presented better music. Had any of these actions been a result of conscious thought, perhaps I would be intrigued. This is dunking on Pianosaurus, and I will not stand for it. I am not intrigued. God, dude, you're brutal. Like, all the experimentation aside. Come on, man. Seriously. Conclusion. Use 1163 for testing. If it survives, keep it there. However, I don't expect it to. Well, yeah, I guess he didn't survive so long. This initiative will produce no more experiments such as this. Measurable improvements have to be made, otherwise I will have to reevaluate the effectiveness of those in my purview. Signature, Dr. Harley Sawyer. Wow. That actually makes me more upset about losing Pianosaurus. Like, there's character here to be explored and worked into a little bit more. And he really did just beef it immediately. Like, that's why we're being like, he wouldn't have been that much anyway. Don't worry. He died, whatever. No, that's sad. That's sad and upsetting. Okay. Okay. He deserved better. And I'll die on that hill. Cole Journal, Entry 2, Cole Vaughn. Last week, Stanley was attacked on duty. He's one of the nice ones down here. Even feels bad for those things. Tries his best to sneak candy and toys to them between shifts. He thinks most of us don't notice, but we do. The soft-hearted idiot thought he could sneak food to Boxy after hours. Just walked right into the cell. Had it not been for a few other guards stationed nearby with tranquilizers, he wouldn't have made it out. I visited him in the infirmary in the morning after it happened to see if he was all right. I always knew the guy was a bit of an airhead, but to walk into a cell like that, and with one of the big ones, no less, That's just downright stupid. I asked him why. Why risk it? What's it to him? Why does it matter? He was quiet for a little, like he was afraid to tell me. They're not just beasts, Cole, he finally said. They were more than that. Once. I asked him how we could believe that. Been watching, he said. Paying attention to things. Reports, eyeing some of the stuff the scientists pass between one another. After a while, I got him to keep that crazy talk to himself and made him promise not to snoop like that again. Told him to get some sleep, but ever since our talk, I haven't been able to get anything he said off my mind. It can't be true. I've seen what those things can do. I mean, they're 12 feet tall, for goodness sake. How can they be anything other than monsters? It's silly, it's stupid, and whatever Stanley's trying to say, he's wrong.
So do they not know?
No. Cole doesn't know. Wait, so that changes something, actually. With the tape from earlier, the tape that we saw where he's talking to Norm must be after he has the conversation with Stanley. I'd assumed it was flipped. But maybe it's not. Because he's talking in the tape about how, like, they're different now. There are these things, there's no going back, blah, 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 blah. But this seems like new information for him. So that changes, actually, where that tape falls. Huh. Alright, let's go to entry 3. I couldn't get the thought out of my head what Stanley was implying. I always believed they were homegrown, maybe animals or something, but not people. I mean, what about a giant toy with an appetite for men and women screams, yeah, I'm a person? Snooping around documents for the eggheads is a punishable offense, and if the rumors about punishments here are true, then that means being careful is a must. But too many people have lost their lives to these things for the rest of us to be blind and accepting that we can keep them under control, and that we can trust Playtime at their word. I've looked into things a little bit. I know the guys that guard the archive room. They keep a tight ship, but in the right setting with the right type of mood, their lips get real loose. They let slip the process and the code for getting in. While the security feeds were down one night, I went in. Didn't get very far, but I grabbed a few prisoner profile documents. The observations were from one Dr. Harley Sawyer. Not a name I recognize, but the observations mentioned people. I'll be investigating further, but I'm starting to worry that Stanley might have been on something. Oh my god. Show me the fourth. Show me the fourth! It happened again. The experiments broke free. I don't remember much. All the doors opened, and I was pinned to the floor by something big. Everything went black. I woke up in one of the same cells the experiments were in. I could hear the other guards next to me, above me. They were screaming, pleading. It reminded me of the experiments. The way they'd smash against the walls, baring their teeth and trying to act like they weren't afraid. It's funny that I haven't thought of home yet, locked in this cell. Honestly, I haven't thought of home in a long time. That was another life. Another me. The only thought that comes to mind now is how inevitable this all was. They hurt us, and we hurt them back. We hurt them, and they hurt us in return. Over years and years of countless incidents, this is the way it's been. Nobody cares to stop it, and nobody's innocent anymore. We made them, and now they've made us. We've been prisoners to a cycle down here in the dark, and I don't think any of us deserve to see the light anymore. If you ever find these notes, please, whoever you are, never let another hell like this exist. Otherwise, it'll consume you and all your good intentions. If you ask me, all of us were in the deepest, darkest hole imaginable, right where we belong. Wow. 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 That's really good. I am so bummed that we missed that. I'm glad I'm seeing it now. Oh my gosh. So yeah, that tells us, I mean, we've seen a lot from like the science staff in terms of the VHS tapes and people being like, it was Sawyer, scientist, specialist, da-da-da, Sawyer, they all have their suspicions, but the guards were kind of kept in the dark. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know who they were dealing with. Wow. This seems like there's a lot of silos of information in this company. Some people have no idea. Some people are maybe too privy to what's going on. That's dark. Also, shout out Cole having the time to write notes when he wakes up in weird locations. Epic. Alright. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Ayers, we can give him back to you. Your son Jack can live. Oh, it's before the tape. Show this message to no one. 6 weeks from the time of receiving this letter, return to the Playtime Co. factory. Someone will be waiting for you there. A friend. A friend? A friend? And just who would that be? That's wild. Okay, so they were summoned back by a friend. Cool. It feels out of character for Harley to write something like that. This seems like... Who would that be from? Probably someone more concerned with the image of the company, right? Harley would have no reason to send something like this out. Why would he?
Is there something on the letter?
Let's see. Let's see. I'm going in. What is that image? It's like, looks like a monitor. Someone dressed in orange? That might be like, that doesn't quite look like Doughy. Not really. Almost looks like, this is silly, and I know it's not what it is, but this is what I see. I see a little dinosaur. He's got like a little nose and his mouth is open, and he's like, yeah, and he's wearing an orange shirt. That's what I see. It's not what it is, but it's what I see. It actually kind of looks like, I see a little bit of purple in there, but I don't know. I don't know what that could be. We need to like enhance that. It looks like something. It's just difficult to make out in this context. What's next?
The last one is Young Genius's program removal letter.
Oh! Oh my gosh, I was so excited when we found this one earlier. Open it up, let's go. The monsters we make. Let's do this. Let's do this. Harley, let me begin this with a bit of bluntness, as I know you appreciate not dancing around what needs to be said. Despite how much it pains me, I've decided to remove you from the Young Geniuses program. I didn't want it to turn out this way, Harley. I didn't want to hurt or discourage you. Yours is truly a brilliant mind. Probably the most brilliant of anyone I've ever known. Every day I've seen your drive, your determination, and your incessant need for progress. Working with you, it's been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. But even so, I have to be honest with myself, and with you. Because despite all that I see in you, despite all that you could be, there's one glaring flaw in you that I can no longer make myself ignore. Your lack of humility. Scientific progress should always be to the benefit of humanity. Progress made simply for the sake of progress often winds up hurting us more than it helps. I've tried to temper that in you, as I once had to temper it in myself, but it became clear to me that such intrusions on my part only incited your anger. You finally lashed out at me one evening and stormed out of the lab. "Don't be soft, Elliot," you said. "Progress doesn't care for how anyone feels about it." I knew immediately that you were wrong, but I wasn't sure what to do. What could shift your thinking? In agonizing over it, I was reminded of what ultimately changed me, of what gave me the perspective I needed. It was seeing the world and people again, bouncing back from rejection and hardship through connection. In thinking about those days, I'm reminded that rejection can sometimes be the best thing for us. It can remind us why our actions matter, and who they're for. Ultimately, I believe it made me a better person, and I have to believe that doing this now will make you better too. So I challenge you to head for home, Harley. To look at the people around you. To try for a new perspective. To better know why progress matters. One day I hope you'll understand. Maybe you'll even thank me. But even still, I'm sorry. Your friend, Elliot Ludwig. This chapter is like Elliot Ludwig was the good man. Like, from Riley's notes up till here. Elliot. He had the right idea. Elliot had the right idea. But it also ties in, like, progress, innovation. Leith Pierre, head of innovation, innovating in the wrong way. Harley Sawyer, making progress, innovating in science and in these fields that Elliot Ludwig was originally looking in, going the wrong direction. Elliot had the starting point. He locked it in. He set the foundation. And then when these other people were brought in and had the wrong intention, the wrong motivations, when things began to spiral out of control, that's what we're seeing here. This lack of control. You can set this foundation, but things just got out of hand quickly. And this is proof that Elliot very compassionately tried to stop it. And it might have served as a catalyst for everything that transpired and happened after that point. I think it says something that we did find it behind where the doctor perished, right? Like, yes, it could just be, oh, here's where you'd find this secret note that was hidden and to provide you more information. But I do believe it was symbolically placed, right? It was still nearby. It was near the brain of the doctor. It was close in proximity to the hub of it all. It stayed with him. This stuck with the doctor. He remembered this. This was a catalyst, if I ever saw one. Wow. Yeah, Elliot Ludwig knew what he was about. I mean, he made hard decisions, but for the right reasons. Good stuff. Good stuff. The Young Geniuses program, we don't really hear about it in this chapter besides this note. That's pretty much it. It's more of a thing that I believe is referenced in more detail in things like the ARG. I could be misremembering that, but that is what's coming to mind right now. But, wow. Wow! Interesting stuff. Ooh. Oh, man. That was exciting. That's all the notes? That's all we missed?
Yeah.
Wow. There was a lot of things to find and collect in this game, but I do have to say, like, a lot of these notes and VHS tapes felt super important and having merit, and I really liked them. Again, this was great for fueling the characterization, the backstory of these characters. It gives you a lot of lore at once, and it doesn't serve, like, the core questioning that we've begun from chapter 1, but it's still narratively satisfying to put these together because you can trace a thread more easily about, like, what's happening in broader playtime, and you have more of the meat behind a lot of these characters, which is great. So I think that the notes in the VHS tapes are actually very well done. Even if some of them are really hard to find, it was fruitful if you did find them. So yeah, I had a blast with this. I can't believe now that we're at the end, it's time to step away. And, you know, it's time to have some discussions with Tom about what we found here today. Especially, like, some of the odd lines that are sticking with me. Like, the doctor was reciting the bell tolls line. Like, I believe that's referencing a poem. That's not just, like, a random thing. There are some intertextual parallels happening here, my friends. So, I don't have the exact referential material up here, but I recognize it. So, we're going to talk to Tom. We're going to sort that out. We're going to piece together some of these observations, and the game theory should be coming at you pretty darn soon. So, until then, my friends, thank you for coming along with us on this journey of Poppy Playtime. Be sure to subscribe so that when you get... That's why you should subscribe. So, that's a pretty convincing argument. Be sure to subscribe. Hey, because once Chapter 5 happens eventually, and all the teaser trailer details and materials, all of that will be analyzed on this channel as well, so be sure to stay along for the ride for all of that magic. And thank you all so much for watching this series. Remember, it wasn't a live stream, but it was a video for you. See ya!